Welcome to the Creative for Greatness podcast, where in this episode, we talk about play streets, reclaiming our blocks, reimagining our community. Can you describe what Play Streets is and why it's such an important initiative for Pottstown families?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm Chris Worsbowski, and with me is Andy Graham. We are two of the folks responsible for bringing Play Streets to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and we're so excited to join you today, the Strive for Greatness podcast. Play Streets is very simply shutting down a neighborhood block, providing free play equipment to residents to get out and engage in play and fun. It's a space where folks can learn about local organizations, local nonprofits who are providing services and programs that they may benefit from. And it is just this wonderful combination of play, recreation, and information that is freely available throughout the borough of Pottstown in the summer. So we've been working on it since 2022-ish, and this is our fourth year of doing this program. Andy, you've been my partner on this endeavor. I'm from the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation, you from the borough. What is your perspective on this?
Well, I think that's a good description, how you just stated everything. I would say that at the onset of when Chris first reached out to me about this, we talked about and planned everything for a year before we actually implemented it. So we started talking, I think, at the beginning of 2021.
Yep.
And got everything launched pretty much effectively the first year and have just made improvements ever since. Initially, the thought was to get people back out of their homes after COVID, get them reacquainted with their neighbors, and also just community outreach, bringing the nonprofits to them that they might not have known about otherwise.
Nice. Great. So my name is David Charles. I am the CEO of the Strive Initiative. So thank you for those responses about Play Streets. To you, Chris, from a Health and Wellness Foundation perspective, how do Play Streets contribute to community health outcomes?
Sure. As Andy said, we'd been working on this since 2021, and one of the key pieces of evidence that we were using as justification or the reason behind the program was Pottstown area residents not feeling necessarily comfortable or in green spaces, parks, or recreation spaces, in comparison to, say, residents from not Sinking Springs, that's where I'm from, but residents from around the Tri-County area, around Pottstown, different feelings about their recreation access. So that was one thing we were considering. But also, it's important for young people to be able to get out and connect with one another and to play in their neighborhoods, and to make those social connections, but also to get the opportunity to have joy, to play, to engage, and really use different muscles and parts of their body to engage in fun activity. And there are long and short-term outcomes from those activities, from play, that are really beneficial. And again, it be as simply as a child playing with bubbles with a caregiver, and that child's eyes tracking a bubble. That's good practice for that child, for their motor skills. So for us, we look at this from a broader perspective around access to green spaces, to recreation, but also from a very smaller scale to an individual, to a child who may benefit from this opportunity in the short term, but also in the long term, gaining access to a variety of programs and services that may benefit them and propel them to healthy life going forward.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Andy, what was your favorite part about organizing Play Streets each summer, and how do you see it bringing neighborhoods together?
I think the favorite part for me is seeing all the different age groups come out and join us and play together, because we literally have infants all the way up to some elderly folks that come out with their different organizations, and just watching them all not only play double dutch or foursquare, but also providing information to the families that join us that they maybe didn't know about was available to them otherwise.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful.
David, why is it important for Strive students to be involved in Play Streets this year?
Well, for Strive, We have a holistic approach where students learning some of the multimedia skills all year long in an after-school program, and then being able to participate in the summer at play streets in the neighborhood, showcasing their skills and bringing their leadership to play streets, hosting a table and just helping to set up, break down, have conversations with the community, different neighborhoods about what's important to them. I think it allows students to get outside of their comfort zone and go into different parts of Pottstown that maybe they haven't explored before. And bringing their skills, I would say, to the community in the summer is really important. And just letting them know that during the school year, it's important for them to show up for after-school program and continue to learn and continue to push themselves, because they have more opportunity in the summer to showcase those skills and to earn a stipend, right, for their time. We're teaching young folks to value their time, and that partnership with Pottstown Area Health and Wellness and the borough to help our students to think about the workforce is really important for us at Strive.
Yeah.
Good. We love having them there too.
Yeah, David, do you want to go into what your students brought to the table this past year? Because I loved it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we brought to the table DJ production, DJ training. So we have our young DJs come out, set up, and provide the sound, the music for Play Streets. We've also had our students host 3 or 4 podcasts to connect with people in different neighborhoods, and just talking about what Play Streets means to them, what does Pottstown mean to them, and how they can continue to get involved, and again, just bringing joy, having young folks share from their perspective as well. So, and we had some of our youth, like Dakota right here. Again, leadership. Dakota in high school, she's a leader. She's into singing, theater, music production, but she also is a leader with some of our young students. She helps to provide a guidance for them at these play streets and just giving back. It's continuation of mentorship. So we're really excited to continue this tradition.
Yeah.
Dakota, tell us a little bit about your experiences with Play Streets last year.
So when I did hear about Play Streets originally from Mr. Charles here, I was excited. I felt curious about, what's this? This seems new, and I've never really seen anything like it out of every time I moved, everywhere I've lived. It was unique, and when I actually went out, I saw all the kids coming together. They were playing, they were laughing. I saw some have water guns, and then I saw adults just chatting. I saw infants playing. To see a community to come together, to just unite under one purpose, or just for fun, to not worry about anything, to just relax. It was very inspiring. It was very relaxing, very intriguing, very fun.
Wonderful. That Play Streets you were referencing was Washington West Street Park, right?
Yes, that was the one. When I heard about Play Streets, I accidentally stumbled upon it because it was right close to my house.
Nice.
It's always a good one.
Very fun. Food smelled amazing.
David, how does involvement in Play Streets fit into Strive's mission, the workforce development and mentorship? Mentorship.
Oh, yeah. Like I was explaining earlier, with having some of our high school students come back to connect with our younger middle school students through guidance, through helping to set up tables, through understanding Strive's mission, to talking to parents about their experience with Strive, to our adults that are so committed to mentoring middle school and high school students. I think to our mission is to cultivate positive perception, right? Mainly through mentorship and exposure to allowing the community to see what goes on in the school, what goes on in the community, how parents allow their children to also participate in Play Streets and the mentorship program during the day. We feel it's impactful. So with Play Streets, to our mission with workforce development, there was a program called Recreation when I was younger, and that was really impactful for me, where younger middle school and grade school students would participate in the recreation program during the summer. And the older students that were in high school in some of these different neighborhoods in Pottstown would actually get paid to be mentor, guidance counselors. So for us, the workforce development component, since that program is no longer existing, the workforce development program, we feel it's vital to young folks valuing their time, learning skills, understanding their social and emotional, needs, struggles, and trying to help them through gaining confidence and coming out to the community and setting up that DJ system and playing that set list that they learned with their instructor and, just helping to create that ambiance and that energy of fun and relaxation, right? So we feel that young folks value in their time and then earning a stipend for being committed is really important. And the play streets for us is the follow through, right? So you come all year. We want you to do what you need to do behavior-wise. We want you to keep your grades up. We're in touch with parents. We're really connected. But play streets, it's the follow through. So it's like, let's put your skills to the test in front of the community, bringing people together, just like you would do at a wedding, just like you would do at a birthday party, photography, or whatever it is, with podcasting as well. So cultivating positive perception. Pottstown sometimes gets this rap, and there's positivity here. And we want to cultivate the positive angles of what we do and how we unite with each other.
And we do appreciate the partnership with Strive on that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
My next question goes out to Chris or Andy. How did you see youth from Strive impacting the energy and reach of the Play Streets events?
For me, I think the best part of it is when they are able to set up for music and have a DJ there. That really ignites the energy of the event. The event only being 2 hours on a Thursday evening, that just helps people that maybe wouldn't have come out of their house otherwise and join into the event itself. I mean, ultimately, our goal is community outreach. So sometimes people see something from inside their house in the street and they just kind of stay in there. But having the energy of the music and seeing that the kids are out running around having a good time, I think draws out other families to join us at times.
Yeah, I really appreciate our partnership. It's something we've been working on, David and I and Andy. We've been trying to figure out for a while how to make it happen, and I just really appreciate it. From DJing perspective, I love it, and Andy spoke to that very well. And the MC-ship element of having a master of ceremonies, we had a young man, I believe his nickname was the Engine, I believe, but he was one of your students, and he came through, and what he did is he walked around with a microphone in his hand and introduced a lot of our partners or tables. So he was helping us amplify the messaging of many of our tabling partners and our coalition partners to help folks know what they're up to. But also he helped us with our timing and when to close shop and when we're putting things away. So I really appreciated that. The podcasting, live podcasting was critical for us. It allowed, from a bigger or broader perspective, it captured the energy of this event in perpetuity. We're creating a historical documentation of this really important work, and having students' voices centered in that effort is critical. As this program serves young people, elders, we want to be sure that we're sharing this out, providing people opportunities to learn both about Play Streets and about all the amazing things that are happening in this community and all the energy that is being put towards planning and working together ahead towards a future where equity is centered and we're thinking about planning and developing and coordinating and working in joy together.
I love it. And his name is Travis.
Yes, Travis.
and again, to your point, it's even the energy, like Travis, he just graduated. But seeing his energy in school, in the hallways, and asking him, hey, man, I think you should host some of these. And he's like, you think I can do that? And I'm like, I know you can do it. And he has been so great at being a host. just helping when it comes to Play Streets and talking. And he feels empowered, to continue doing this. He's actually done it for the Juneteenth event, went to all the tables. It was like, him and Gus from PCTV, they went to every table, interviewed people. So Play Streets even gave him, a little more confidence to get out there for Juneteenth and do the same thing, right? Engage with the community. So the engine his name is Travis. He just graduated. We're so proud of him.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come back and join us for one or two.
I think he will. He said he doesn't have much going on, but I think he will. He'll have some
his own
good things.
Website, his business website.
He does.
Seemed correct. He knows what he's doing.
No, he did.
Yeah.
He even came down to MPAC with us. So we've been engaging, and he's been engaging with us from the inception of actually being at Play Streets. So
Nice.
it's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dakota, let me ask you a question. How did talking to community members at Strive Table help you to see your community in a new way?
So originally, when I did first move to Pottstown, I was shy, introverted. I knew nothing and nobody about anything or anyone. And then I just remember going to a guidance counselor, and then they introduced me to you, and then I connected with Laura. And then over the years, the more I work with Strive, the more I see all these events that are going on, and the more I volunteer for things and want to go out there and help the community, the more I go around Pottstown and see not just faces, but families, friends, daughters, sons, and how they each have an important role, I should say, to play in this community.
Love it. Love it. Thank you.
Of course.
Nice. So we're going to go into a segment of community engagement and inclusion. Chris, the report for the 2024 Play Streets activities mentioned stronger connection to organizations serving individuals with disabilities. How are Play Streets evolving to be more inclusive?
Sure. Last year, we were able to partner with Hedwig House. They provide some residential services in addition to some other services to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And they had been looking out for opportunity to engage with us in the previous year, so in 2023, but timing didn't work out for us then. So this past summer, we were able to connect with Hedwig, and some of their residents came out and volunteered with us to help with setup and staging and volunteering on site. So it was a really wonderful opportunity to engage residents from within the community to support other residents. And it's a constant effort of mine to push for greater inclusion, greater accessibility to any of the programs or any of the work I do, based a lot on my own personal experience, my work experience within the disability field, in addition to just beyond intellectual and developmental disability. We've been very purposeful about including resources or information relating to mental health resources. So Traces of Love, for example, was one of the organizations we've partnered with, and one of our coalition members who provides services and has provided services to some youth who've experienced some traumatic events in Pottstown, for example, the explosion that had occurred years ago. So we're purposeful in partnership with entities that are helping provide those 360 kind of programs or services that can really enrich people's lives, whether they have a disability or mental health challenge of their own. So we're looking out for that. And Play Streets in itself, we're closing down that last mile to social services, social safety net services. So being able to provide information as close as possible, proximity to a person's doorstep, is really important. And when we're trying to navigate this modern communications landscape, when we know the technology that we have in our hands can provide us with misinformation at a startling rate, providing opportunities for engagement on the street with partners, with people, it's critical. So this trust building is breaking down divides and helping reduce those barriers to access to services, and hopefully propelling folks to different directions with these resources in their back pockets.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Chris.
Andy, how do you decide where Play Street events are hosted each year, and how do you make sure that they all serve the neighborhood's equality? Yeah. Sorry, lisp.
Equally.
Yeah, equally.
Understood. So my biggest factor for choosing neighborhoods for me is a safety standpoint, making sure that I can close roads safely and not impact too much of the rush hour traffic, because the timing of our events are 5:30 to 7:30. People are coming home from work. Don't want to inconvenience the residents too terribly much. Also, we try to do events around the park system to try to not only provide equipment that we don't have to carry in and out each event, but also showcase the park system, which we are very proud of and have done a lot of upgrades to. And then thirdly, the biggest factor is population density. We try to hit areas that have, a larger population base of younger children to try to engage the young ones in the community as well.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's nice. That sounds also strategic.
It is very strategic.
Which is
yes.
important. Yeah.
And I think over the last 3 summers that we've previously done this, we've sort of figured out what areas have worked and where we've impacted enough, I guess is the word, enough people, and made some changes for the upcoming year.
Yeah. When we were initially developing this in year one, we were purposeful, engaging the community, talking to lots of different folks, and just really trying to look at this borough of Pottstown. It's a big place, and another instigating factor, or just one of the motivating things for me behind this program was how do we provide these kind of services throughout the borough of Pottstown? Before Play Street's majority of programming, and this is no slight on Parks and Recreation, but it was focused towards their bigger, assets, so like the riverfront area or High Street along those areas. So through Play Streets, we're able to branch out and hit these different pockets of community. So we're just being very purposeful in that engagement and really thinking tactically and strategically about where we're reaching out to.
That's great.
Right, yeah.
Serving the neighborhoods also equitably, right? So you're hitting
the word.
riverfront park, all the parks, neighborhood parks, which is that's strategic.
A lot of people don't realize we have 15 parks within the borough.
Yeah, that's a lot of
See,
parks.
I never
That is a
realized
lot
that.
of parks.
That is a lot of parks.
Within the 5 square miles, yes.
Did you hold events at all 15 yet? Or
No.
Yeah. I was going to say.
No, we could never do that in a summer. Although I think at the onset, Chris would have liked to.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I was pushing for 12. And that's the thing, in Wilmington, Delaware, where the model I'd initially researched that my friend had helped develop, they were at 10 or 12, but that's a bigger place. Wilmington is much bigger than Pottstown.
That's a whole city.
It's a whole city.
I didn't realize how small Pottstown was until I actually looked at a physical map. I'm like, whoa, that is.
Yeah.
And then I saw.
It's small when you look at it like that, but
It's spread
for a
out.
borough, it's about 4 times the size of a standard borough.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
good to
big.
know.
Yeah.
Big surface area. And that's why we had to do Play Streets, because how are you going to reach all those people?
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Indeed.
David, tell me about what your response has been from the community as the Strive director for having your kiddos join us.
Oh, it's been amazing. I would just say it feels a little like legacy. Like when we talk about that recreation program and then students earning stipends, but it's holistic. So it's all year. Then we go into summer program and then we're in the Play Streets. That's a holistic approach. Parents are excited. Parents are dropping their child off and, yes, leaving them with us. There's a trust that's been built. Yeah. And I think leadership is excited to see how we've partnered and you guys have welcomed us into this community engagement. It's been great. How do you feel about the adults and people?
Yeah, I've seen multiple different adults just leave their kids at the events. Like the one I volunteered, what was it, last year?
Yes.
In the middle school gym. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I saw so many kids, especially parents as well, just getting out and playing with the kids, because I know after a long day of work, adults don't really want to do anything. They just want to sleep, or not sleep, but go on the couch.
We're looking for an easy thing for our kids to occupy time. And that's right outside our house, so we don't have to drive to it. And if a Play Streets program would happen, and that's the thing for me. I'm a parent. I have 2 boys, and I'm fortunate that my youngest, Robin, has kind of been born on the Pottstown Play Streets.
He sure has.
Yeah, like Andy knows as
Been there since he was an infant.
Yeah, and I just know from a parent perspective, having something like this in a town is a wonderful resource.
Very trustworthy.
Yeah, and to be able to just know and set your schedule for a summer and just roll out, try and have food at all these events too. So we're really trying to make it that spot where you can come with your kids and just relax. Lots of eyes on the street. It's a safe environment. So, it's supposed to be that space for both parents and caregivers, elders with their families.
Yeah, and I've seen that it gives students the opportunity to do something during the summer that they're not sitting inside all the time. Because I know personally, or from a personal standpoint, that can be very tiring, very understimulating. But
How cool is it that Chris shared earlier in this discussion that he's from the Sinking Springs area, but his family comes to every event when we have Play Streets?
Yeah.
So not only are we engaging our local community, but his wife and kids are coming to support him and our venture.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
That's great.
as we move into creating safe spaces to play and learn, I have to ask, Chris, why is it critical to reclaim public outdoor space for children's play, and how does that impact long-term wellness?
As I mentioned kind of from the up top, we know that there are some challenges around access to recreation spaces, a feeling of safety in neighborhoods. And so, creating these safe spaces just is integral to mental and physical health, like longer term. If these environments people live in don't have these kind of resources, they don't have those opportunities, those outlets, express themselves, to burn off energy and kind of mentally reset in some cases when they have that access to play. So it's critical both for youth and adults, and also the creation of these extra spaces in our lives. It's very important that communities have these safe, common spaces that residents can congregate and gather and engage in storytelling or play in different ways. So we know that across communities that are experiencing lots of development, those priorities around recreation spaces aren't necessarily heavily there. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But we know that it's a critical piece to the mix of any work in a community like Pottstown is ensuring access so folks can exercise and connect.
Yeah.
Nice.
David, what do you think? Tell me what helping at Play Streets changed the way you think about outdoor spaces or community events.
Wow. Well, I love block parties. So actually, Andy, when you and the borough first started the fire hydrant,
Water Wednesday.
I believe
David was like a little kid
I
again.
believe I turned into a 10-year-old again. It was so incredible. It made me happy. I mean, there's so many pictures I remember, and I just was like, this is what community is about.
Yeah.
Engaging these areas, opening up those fire hydrants when that was going on. But, even with Play Streets, like the open spaces and being available in the summer to want to meet neighbors. Yes, vacation is great, but also when you have youth that can serve at these spaces and hone in their leadership skills to talk to different adults, to talk to students in these open spaces, in these neighborhoods, I feel it's just helping young people and, the older generation actually mingle with each other in a different way.
Agree.
There used to be a lot of that back in the day, and that cross-generational connecting with each other. But I love the open spaces. I love that the Play Streets are near the parks. Growing up in Bright Hope when I was young, it was called the playground, right? It was a park. It was the center of everything. Right?
Hopefully it'll be the center of everything again now that it's all redone.
I think it will be. That was, even when I was 5, I was playing basketball on the monkey bars. So I would just say the open spaces for me and looking at that and how we participate is crucial, especially being able to do some of multimedia skills, learning and training outside.
Agree.
That's really great for young people to do that. We want to do more of that in different open spaces in Pottstown. So it's kind of lit a fire under me to continue this tradition and some other spaces in the community with borough approval. Not on my own.
In collaboration.
That's awesome.
In collaboration. Yes.
Strategic collaboration.
Yeah.
So, Andy, what role does fun, like double dutch, giant Jenga, or hula hoops, play in bringing people together?
Listen, we all hear that children learn through play, but that is true for all ages. We all learn through play.
Oh, of course.
So not only is it really amazing to see the kids play, but when the adults start to break out the double dutch or play cornhole or whatever, and I even get our police officers involved, it's really nice to see all ages and have a positive experience for them, even if it's just for a couple hours, one night a week.
I've also seen that I feel like backyard games are like a core memory from like a lot of people's childhoods that I'm sure when you go to family events, they bring out like cornhole or Jenga, and then it's just laughs all day.
Absolutely, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Howard Brown like really diving into that double dutch, didn't he?
He sure did that one
Howard.
day.
What was he? He was in it. Double dutch is pretty fun, you know?
Yeah, and that wasn't even planned.
No.
Right.
Which is just a testament to this program and this community. We know Double Dutch is a big Philly thing. There's a lot of folks that have some of that history with them. Maybe it come from Philly. We see folks able to throw down. I have yet to be able to throw down. I have observed very well.
It takes a lot of coordination, but it's really neat to see the adults teaching some of the younger ones to do it.
Yeah,
that they wouldn't be doing
getting outside of
otherwise.
that comfort zone too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we had a staff member from the U.S. Department of Transportation doing Double Dutch as well.
We did last year. That's
at our
right.
first event last year. Yeah, we had a U.S. DOT site visit in Pottstown, and we were able to showcase this program to them and show off like what we were able to do. In addition to seeing just all the beauty of the event itself, having them actually just jump in, it was a big deal, and we were really excited to see that.
See, I don't think I've actually played double dutch before or heard of it. I was born in Pennsylvania, but I lived in New York for the majority of my childhood, so I never really heard of double dutch.
Okay.
There's time.
Well, get ready.
Get ready.
Because it's coming. It's coming. Get ready. It's going to be some learning going on.
Yes.
Observing mostly. But
Yes.
learning.
Start by observing. It's wise.
Okay, so listen, to all of our guests here, what made the 2024 Play Street season stand out compared to previous years?
For me, I think the best part and one of our core concepts is to bring meals to people. We were able to secure funding last year to provide a quote-unquote dinner to everybody that attended. So I think that was my favorite part about last year,
Yeah.
aside from everything else we've already talked about. But
Yeah.
that
Nice.
stood out the most, I think.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was a big thing that every year we do an evaluation both of folks during the actual event, but also afterwards with all of our partners. And we had received feedback around the need for music and the need for food after year one. And we had been kind of on this path to try and figure this problem out. And last year, we were able to do music and food. So we really look to solve problems creatively, utilizing kind of resources that we have on hand. Partnerships that we've developed over the years through this program have helped us do these amazing things together. Last year was our first time being able to execute all events without a weather disruption. That was a big win, so 7 out of 7. And we served the most ever in a summer, around like 643, I believe.
Around 643.
Yeah, right.
Plus or minus
Give or take.
10. And we had over like 35 actual partners around there. So it was just really incredible. But as I mentioned just before, we had the U.S. Department of Transportation come out to that first one, and to have them come out and see the program, witness it. It's my hope that this is a program that can be used as a model across the country play in places just like Pottstown to engage residents around meaningful play and also conversations and resource sharing. So it's just a really wonderful season, and we're so happy that we're back for season number 4.
Number 4. What about you, Dakota?
So for me, I'd say just because for last year's it seemed so popular, and again, I was out walking trying to explore the neighborhood, and I stumbled upon it. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. There's a lot of new people here, mostly because I don't really know anyone in my neighborhood, and the only time that I did see a lot of faces in one place was, as you mentioned, the explosion.
Hale Street.
Hale Street, yes, thank you. So yeah, for me, it'd be the popularity and just seeing people come together just to have fun. Adults, children, infants, elderly.
I think for me, it was also having the Department of Transportation come out and, like, you know, some of the work that we've been doing, everything with the rail, mobility, just like being a little more intentional about some other things, right? With including podcasts a little more and really talking to people about neighborhoods and getting some of those conversations recorded was great. Right, having some families, having some borough council members talk about things and be interviewed, and even our students stepped up last year, leadership-wise. They were at the tables. I mean, I seen some students that I was like, I didn't even know you were this person, you know. But they were there, handing out things, talking to everyone. I was like, this is incredible, you know. So that's what I seen. And just more, last year I saw just everyone even helping each other a little more, like making sure everyone was set up or broken down, or, you know, it's just always a fun environment. It gets better and better each year. And sometimes events or things that you do, in some situations, they don't always get better each year.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, that's coming again, but it seems to get better.
It's a personal goal I always have when I'm doing events from year to year. I try to think, how can I improve it,
Absolutely.
even just slightly, to make a difference.
Absolutely. Nice.
Of course.
Okay. So, Chris or Andy, what's something you learned last year that you'll apply to this year's planning? What's something you learned last year that you'll apply or that you have applied to this year's planning?
That's a great question. And as I think of it, I am going to think of the answer now. We're always learning. Like Andy said, every year we're trying to build off the previous one. Last year, you know, I had an opportunity to learn from new organizations and bring them into the mix. So, you know, for me, understanding kind of where organizations are at over the previous year and where they'll be in the next year. So I have this opportunity, you know, in my role in organizing, to kind of understand a little bit more around our nonprofits landscape, our partners landscape. So I'm definitely considering more along, reducing our paperwork side, looking deep into the data around, you know, how long it takes somebody to fill out a form. I got real nerdy with it. If people have been to my debrief evaluations, I get really into the minutia of the numbers, and, you know, we saw some really great data around, you know, the parent and youth demographic numbers, nearly a 50-50 split between children and adults. So that was one big key indicator for me over the past couple of years that I saw, was that we've progressed to more of a 50-50 split between adults and youth, whereas before we were more of the adults, older youth demographics. So now we're seeing more engagement from youth, and that's very exciting. Definitely thought about that a little bit more heading into this summer, but also just, you know, what went well last year, and our debrief is always, you know, what went well, what didn't go well, and how can we improve. We hit the reset button and go after it again in another summer.
Nice.
Yeah. Andy, what about you?
I think for me, it's more administrative piece on the back end.
Yeah.
As you know, the last 3 summers, we have had 7 events, or at least planned 7 events, and the weather has sometimes cooperated, sometimes not. For me, it was drilling down on the impact we were having and trying to make it more impactful in a less amount of time. So this summer, the plan is for 5 events.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just use those kind of words, just maximizing impact, or just
Correct.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Lovely.
So, David, tell us about how can Strive expand its involvement or even train more students to take leadership roles in future community events?
Well, we would actually like to do some street theater next year with some of our students. There you go. Yes, we would like to do some street theater, like having some of the students come out and do some short skits.
I know Drama Club would be open to that.
Would they?
Yeah.
See
They're trying
that?
to do more events next year or my senior year where there was one where it's 24-hour theater where you stay up all night and then plan something and then perform it.
David, we need to get you hooked up with Miss Marie from Pottstown Community Arts for the Arts in the Park events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect outlet
I
for
think that would be great.
for that.
Great
That'd be
stage.
Yeah, let's connect on that.
Yes.
I also would say street theater, right? And just speaking to some of our middle school and high school students, just being more intentional, right, about some roundtable conversations about play streets and why it's important, allowing them to hear this podcast, showing them some of the numbers and the data, and also giving them some examples of what other cities are doing around the country,
Yeah,
right?
that's fun.
I think, and pizza party, with students, and allow even someone like Dakota and maybe another student to actually host it,
Yeah.
right? So that's also that leadership, those roles, and training some of our young folks to do it. And I want to connect with the Colebrook Dale train just a little bit more. Only reason why, like I would say in the community, it's like, I would like to do like a DJ on the train for this youth. Right? So I'm just thinking of some other things. You ask, like, how can we do that? I'm thinking have some students plan that type of event with students DJing it and being able to ride the train with some, like, really cool music. And because we, want to think about those things. So I think Play Streets has opened up other ideas.
Sure.
Right? Students in the Smith Plaza Park, DJing, hanging out, connecting with each other. That's what I see, right? But youth-led.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
That's a great lead into a question I have for Dakota.
okay.
So if you could design your own play streets,
Oh, nice question.
what would that look like to you? And why?
I actually have to think about this one.
Okay.
I definitely have, again, the street theater where people could come out, could put on a little show, could put like a little tip jar, support more theatrical arts. I know that I'd also probably want to do like more water-themed things because it's the heat of summer and then people, it's going to sweat and you're running around, you're going to get hot. A water station or like a huge water balloon fight, that seems really fun. But like a big cleanup.
Big cleanup
There you
after
go.
that.
Then I'd have to say just include more board games or just get more people together, like have like a website where like sponsor it, like in a more statewide level, like you have more
Okay. That's some great ideas.
Absolutely.
So our closing reflections to everybody sitting at this table. What's one memory from last year's Play Streets that really stuck with you?
We're punting to David.
I would say the first one or the West Street one we had.
Okay.
There was an energy about that one where, the young Travis was the host. Dakota, you were there.
I was.
Department of Transportation was there. Double Dutch was happening. There was something about the energy at that one. That stuck out to me. I also lived on West Street when I was younger. There were some different adults that were in that community that were my mentors. Being there and living there, and one of my really close friends, Tom Harvey, who I went to school with, he lived there. There was just something about being on West Street for me. Just coming back
Felt like
to the
home.
community. It was home. So
Okay.
that was it. And the double Dutch.
David is a big fan of the double Dutch. For me, I think my favorite one last year was the Prince Street, which is parallel to Bright Hope. We were able to engage the Bright Hope basketball courts. Howard was very generous and shared some of our basketballs with the kids to take home. It was just a nice, a great event overall. Even some of the older neighbors came out because they were like, "What's that loud music?" But once they realized what was happening, they jumped in and engaged as well.
Love
so
it.
that was cool. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I think, Washington West Street Park, I've talked about that a lot, but one of the other sites I like is Chestnut. We were able to have Montgomery County Planning Commission come out and do some resident community engagement at that one, focused on the county's next 10-year plan. And for those folks who don't know, it's a big plan that helps the county figure out roads, design, what should be happening in different places in Montgomery County. And so we were able to collect information, help the Planning Commission collect information from residents from that area, hopefully have it reflected in that plan for 2050. So to me, it was a testament, kind of the power of this program and what it can achieve when we bring in some of these bigger or more regional partners to engage in community engagement. We get to show these regional partners what Pottstown is all about. Really show them, expose them to, our partners, our residents, and really have them engage, beyond even that one time and continue these really meaningful or beneficial partnerships and relationships.
Wonderful.
I'd say for me, the most memorable thing, of course, the last year's Washington and West. The thing that really stood out to me is as I was on the swings probably the entire time. I love swinging.
Okay.
But I just saw all the kids just running around and the music playing and all the smiles and the food. I remember the food.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I got roasted real good at Washington West Street Park by some youths. And the thing is, though, they didn't know about play streets. They didn't know what it was about. They just saw a guy walking around in a suit. And yeah, I was in a suit, so of course I stood out. But I said to the kids, this is for you. This event, and there's food, and they were like, oh, what? And they just
that really inspired them. Just there's food.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was nice.
Nice. Everybody likes food.
Oh, yeah.
I always say, feed people at a meeting and they'll be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We are at our last question.
Last question. So, I'd say, Mr. Charles, how has this experience helped you grow personally or professionally? And what would you tell another student thinking of joining Strive?
I think it's helped me grow personally by just continuing to be open, I would say, in the summer, right? Sometimes in the summer, I'm ready to roll. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go to Mexico or Europe somewhere. But I think personally, I want to engage more. I want to connect more. I want to give more opportunities to students. And I think of a young person thinking about joining Strive, I would say, when you join Strive, there is a sense of you belong here. Mm. And there's a sense of belonging. And it's not just Strive. It's with our partners. It's with the borough. It's with Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. It's with the school district. Just our partnerships. I always feel like we belong there. Mm. Working together to build a better community of inclusiveness and just working together. So I would say a sense of belonging. You belong here.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love
Do
that.
it. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. It was really great getting to hear what you have for Play Streets and insight. Definitely going to show up to more events, definitely after what I heard today.
Good.
Yes.
Mark your calendar. Next Thursday, June 12th, 5:30 to 7:30 at Cherry Street Park.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes. Have a great day.
Peace.
You as well.
Bye-bye.